Hello, everyone. This is Ted with OAXRAY, and today I'm excited to talk about some Amazon news. I just kind of want to get started here. We have a few people on the live chat, so that's always good. If you're here and you have a question, as always, just post it down in the live chat right here, and I will answer that for you. I actually have a few questions that I got throughout the day from people who've just been asking questions today. So the first one would be, where do I find product? And I always answer the same question to this. There's items to resell just about everywhere. So if you live in a small area and maybe you don't have a lot of retail stores, often you have a lot of people who hold on to those older items longer. Maybe they keep things in their garage. If there's not a lot of thrift stores in your area, often people will yard sale those items in more rural areas. So if you can't find something in a retail store, maybe you're going to go into their home. Maybe they have a garage sale. Maybe you post something on offer up, not offer up, but maybe something on Craigslist saying, hey, I'll help you clean out your garage. I'll take it all to the dump, and whatever you find, you keep for yourself. And whatever you can donate, you can donate those items. So there's just so many ways to find inventory. And if you're in a big city and you have a ton of things around you, there's probably going to be a store that will meet your niche, something that you like to sell. So if you're in a big city and you don't like to do the used market items, you're probably going to have a whole lot of items that you can buy new in the store and do some retail arbitrage. So there's been some things that have been in the news recently, and I kind of wanted to get started on one of those. Kind of the first thing that's probably going to affect just about everything here, and and that is control. And that will be the state of New York is trying to actually sue the larger retailers like Amazon, eBay, and Governor Cuomo is trying to actually force companies to collect sales tax for any company doing over $100 million in sales. So we all know Amazon is doing a few billion in sales, and they're probably doing a couple billion in New York alone. So what essentially happens right now is, if you're not in New York, for most people, you're probably not collecting sales tax for the state of New York. I've heard some people say that you should if you're FBA, and some people say you shouldn't if you're or you only need to if you're yes if you're merchant fulfilled, and things like that. Yes. Okay, so I am going to switch over. Okay, I see what it is. So I'm hearing that you guys are not seeing my live video stream, so I'm going to go here, and hopefully that is what you guys needed. So hopefully you guys can see the screen now. But here we go. Tech companies, Amazon, eBay set to fight Governor Cuomo's plan. So Amazon looks like they are putting up a fight on this one. They are not just going to start collecting the tax, which is probably a good thing. And the reason is because it's going to raise our prices 5 or 6%, whatever the New York taxes are, and then that puts us at a disadvantage to the people who are selling from overseas. So if you go to a site like wish.com, there's a lot of items coming in from China, and I do not think they're going to be able to enforce these tax rules on a Chinese seller. So there's just or on a Chinese marketplace, because it looks like they're doing this, and they haven't even mentioned any out of country marketplaces. They're mentioning sites for in the U.S., not sites that are in other countries. So this can be a major disadvantage if a buyer comes to our website in the United States and then they go to a site like wish.com and they're not collecting the tax. It's going to be an uneven playing field. So that is something that you definitely want to keep an eye on, because once Uh, Once New York is able to do this, if they're able to get this passed, then we're going to be talking about other different cities starting to do it. So if New York is able to get this through and they're able to force this on Amazon, then more states are going to be able to do it. And then we're going to have sites like wish.com, which are going to be much more competitive than we will because they're not going to be charging the fee. Now, they already have something called, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's actually called e-packets. And they're able to ship an item. Hey, Umama, you're back. Thank you for coming. If you have any questions, ask those in the chat room. Love some questions. They always help provide some content and help everyone here out. So anyways, we have e-packets in the United States. And what that does is it allows someone who's selling from China specifically to ship an item. So if you've ever noticed and you're like, how the heck can a Chinese seller ship an item that's like this big, let's say it's like 6 ounces, all the way from China, and they're only selling the item for like $2 or $3? The way they're able to do this is, first, they're able to produce everything super cheap. So they're able to produce it cheap, but they're also able to ship this, let's just say this little bottle, for like 80 cents. Sometimes, it's a little over $1, but anything up to, I believe it's 13 ounces, and they're able to ship it for under $2 in most cases. So for us to compete with that, with all the fees and things that are on Amazon, is going to be really difficult. And then you throw in the additional fees, and that's just going to get more difficult for the average seller. So there's also another piece of news, which is Amazon is now getting into logistics. So they already talked about kind of how they are going to be taking shipments from the United States over to, or taking shipments from China over to the United States, which is going to add some competition there. But really the thing that I was focused on was now they're going to be doing, and let me make it so you can see this. Amazon plans to launch air freight service for Chinese sellers. And this is really a big one because they're essentially cutting out the middleman. So if you're doing private label, you have to think about this. You're putting your name on the product and you're selling it on Amazon. Right now, there was kind of a problem. So you had Chinese sellers in China who maybe had a problem getting their product over to the United States, making a listing and doing all those things that they needed to do on Amazon. And Amazon's just making it easier and easier. And this air freight service is essentially going to take an item from a dock in China and be able to take it to the United States within a day or two. So whenever these Chinese sellers start entering the market, they're going to be able to get items very cheap to market. There's going to be no markup. There's going to be no middleman. So a lot of people who are doing private label, people are going to be able to look at your listing. They're going to be able to see how much you're selling it for, how many you're selling, using a lot of the tools out there like Jungle Scout, which tells you sell-through rate and all of these things. And you're going to have Chinese sellers jumping in, selling their own private label items because Amazon's making it a little cheaper. They're making it faster. And it's really going to be crazy over the next few years as Amazon starts getting into some of this logistics, because it's going to be cheaper to send their item directly to Amazon by air than some people are probably paying by sea freight right now. And of course, every time Amazon expands or does something new, their stock goes up. It has been going up like crazy. And actually, all of the people who are in UPS and DHL and all of those kinds of people who are in logistics, they might see Amazon over the next few years actually getting into logistics, and just kind of they should be very worried right now, because when Amazon comes into a space, they often will take that space over. They often will come in and just start just start dominating whatever market. Because I've noticed what Amazon does is they go to an issue or whatever it is, and they say, what is the biggest problem here? So they did this with the Amazon Go store. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's a store where you don't check out. And if you would have asked me 6 months ago, what's the worst thing you hate whenever you go to like Walmart or 7-Eleven or one of those places where you just want to get in and out? I would have said the checkout, but Amazon solves that problem. And Amazon, with this air shipping and this air freight issue, they're going to go direct from the Chinese facility or the Chinese pickup point. They're going to go direct into their Amazon center. So they're already going to be stickered. And essentially, it's just cutting the middleman out, which in most cases is us doing private label. Hey, Bobby Moon's Bargains, Dwight Norris, Michael Rezzo, thank you guys for thank you guys a lot for commenting in the comment box. Is that a Nexus issue? So the issue with Amazon and their fight with, let me make sure I'm on the right page. The issue with Amazon and their fight with Governor Cuomo is really going to be not a Nexus issue. So there's kind of two ways to look at this. It's going to be good because now no one has to worry about Nexus if something like this goes into place. Because Amazon itself, from what I can read, is actually going to be the one collecting and paying the tax to the state of New Jersey or New York. So right now what happens is if you're in Delaware, which has no sales tax, and someone else is in New York and you sell that item, the person who's in New York should claim on their taxes that they purchased an item and they should pay that sales tax whenever they do their yearly filing of their taxes. But of course, people don't keep track of everything that they buy online. So what happens is these taxes never get paid. The state of New York is saying, you guys have all the information. You know who bought from our state. You know what was shipped into the state. So why don't you guys collect and remit all of the taxes? So from what it sounds like, if you're selling on eBay or you're selling on one of these markets, it's actually going to kind of remove us from the picture. So it's going to make it so that instead of us being liable, the website, whatever third-party website you're selling on, will be the ones to do all the work. So from a point of ease of use, this might be a good thing. But I think when Amazon starts selling or charging sales tax across the board, and then there's going to be a smaller company that doesn't. So let's just pretend you have your own Shopify store and you're selling a product for $50. Amazon has the same item and they're selling the product for $50. You live in New York. You can sell your product because you don't have over $100 million in sales. You can sell yours for $50, don't charge any sales tax, and you will essentially, I think what Amazon's worried about is you will take that sale from that New York buyer, and they will more likely to buy from a different website that maybe isn't at the $100 million threshold, and they don't have to charge the sales tax. And this is going to be especially true for states with large sales tax. So, I mean, states go up to, I think 8 or 9% is the highest sales tax. So you can imagine if you're in a 9% state and you're buying something big like a TV and it's $1,000 TV, then that's $90 difference in cost just because you decide not to buy on Amazon. So I think Amazon is going to be fighting this to the bitter end, but I don't know what's going to happen overall. I hope they make the case that this is going to be a big disadvantage for anybody, any competing websites. So hopefully that happens. And yes, I've heard of the Nexus issue, and depending on who you speak to, some people will say simply by having your items at Amazon facility at a FBA center that is in that state, you automatically gain Nexus. Some people say that's not true. I've not heard of anyone getting in trouble for it, but I'm not a tax guy, so I don't think you're liable, but you might be. You know, there's different opinions on the issue, but I haven't heard of anybody actually, having a problem. So Tax Jar, I have heard of them, and they promote that you use their service to remit all of the sales tax information. I would talk to a few people because most of the people I know do not collect it, on all of these different places. But, really, there's some interpretation there that I think some people will say if your item ever goes through the state one time for one day, then you're going to be liable for the tax. But if you're in a state like, but if you're selling something like books, all my books go to one facility, and that is North Carolina or sometimes Virginia, but it really doesn't go anywhere else. So for for me to, if they came to me and they said, how many different states does your item go to? And they're books, and all I sell are books, then probably I wouldn't have Nexus in a whole bunch of different states. But if I'm selling maybe toys, then there are different facilities in different states. So I might be more liable depending on, what I'm selling and kind of what states I'm selling in. And like I said, that's up to interpretation. The thing is, TaxJar sells a product that is directly related to collecting the taxes. So they have an incentive to tell you to collect the taxes. But, maybe they are correct. I am not sure about that. So you can talk to your tax guy and say, I have a business, 5 items went into New York last year to the New York facility. Does that mean I need to collect sales tax on 100% of my items that went into, the state of New York? So, you might get someone who says that does not mean that. Or really, I don't know how you even know what day or what year that your item went into that facility unless you shipped it there directly, because Amazon is constantly moving your items. So, you might ship an item to North Carolina and then they might send it to Alabama. So it's going to be kind of hard to tell exactly which day your Nexus was built or which day your Nexus was created, and how much you owe for a Nexus. How will this affect online arbitrage? And I think that question is so the biggest effect for online arbitrage, I believe, will be in the counterfeits that are coming in on the listings. So if you allow direct from China, let's see, we're going to go back. If you allow people to send items direct from China, it just makes it easier for counterfeit items to get here. So if you have a set of headphones by a certain brand and a Chinese seller wants to send items and they're going to ship it, come back over here, and they're going to ship it easily to Amazon, then that is going to be a huge, a huge time savings for them. They're going to be able to ship it there. It's going to get it there in 2 days, and it just makes it easier for that. So anything that increases the number of counterfeits might also increase the amount of gating that's going on. So maybe they will stop a lot of the, stop allowing people to sell in so many categories, because it seems like every time there's a huge story relating to counterfeits or, someone suing them, then they counteract with some policy that, affects everyone. And the last big policy was the gating of the brands and saying you couldn't sell brands unless you paid a fee to get into them. Luckily, a lot of people were grandfathered into this, so maybe it's not going to worry about this. Just quick note, a lot of people have been talking about this, and it's Amazon killing more American jobs. This is kind of off topic, but I just saw this and I was interested. Whenever you look, I actually went to the Amazon facility in Kentucky a few weeks ago, and it's absolutely insane what the robots and what the just kind of automation tools that they have in place. And, we talk about outsourcing of jobs. We talk about all these things, but I think the major thing that Amazon is doing is just their technology. It's just crazy what they can do in their warehouse. And I think that they're going to create 100,000 jobs in the next year, which is 100% true. But to run their facility, I used to actually work at the UPS facility in Norfolk, or what was it, Virginia Beach, Virginia. And they had probably 10 times more people to do the same amount of work that would have taken in the Amazon Center, because Amazon is just so much more automated. So if they get their logistics in line, there's essentially going to be centers where there used to be 100 people, and now maybe they have 10 or 5 people running the entire operation. So that's why this right here says they're going to be threatening some jobs because they're just so much more efficient. I mean, we had a whole lot of jobs, pickers, and just all of these jobs that did not exist or they don't even exist at the Amazon facility. So, yeah, Dwight Norris. So, yeah, currently just collecting the tax in my state. That's exactly what I do. I'm not 100% sure that a state that you don't operate in at all, you've never even been there, is going to be able to, force you to collect taxes, especially when we're talking about 50 different states. I'm kind of waiting for the Congress to, handle the issue because right now, they haven't weighed in on it. And I was expecting them to a couple years ago to say something, to say either, yes, you have to pay it, no, you don't have to pay it, or this is our solution. But so far they haven't. So I'm not sure what is going to be the solution or if they will come out with one. But for right now, it just looks like the status quo is just, what's happening is happening. And that's pretty much it for now. How can I talk to a manufacturer to build a relationship strong enough to get around the gating? Okay, so to get ungated in most categories, you just need a valid generally three invoices. So if you take the time to go to a manufacturer or go to a distributor, sometimes you can do this over the phone. I've gotten any manufacturer that I've ever talked to has always been over email or over the phone, especially if you're talking to a smaller company. It's going to be more difficult for you to get this stuff from like a larger company. So you can actually go to the listing. If you do a quick search on them, actually, you know what? I'll go to one live. Let me make sure I can look up the listing real quick. And I'm actually going to go to Amazon.com. This is an item that I carried a while ago. So I'm going to do a screen share. So this is an item, or I'm going to find it right now. And this is an item that I wholesaled a while ago, but I didn't have an exclusive and 3 or 4 people came in on the listing. I really should have gotten exclusive immediately because it was just a really good brand. And the brand started selling. But here we go. Let's scroll down. And it is this door club. They're actually... Dang, there's 9 offers now. This is kind of crazy because when I was selling on it, it was just me. And now we have a whole bunch of people selling on this listing. So it looks like it's much more competitive, but this was a while ago. So this was the door club. I actually originally got it at a local store to me. So I got this item at, I believe it was Ollie's Bargain Outlet. They sell they're kind of like a Big Lots. And as you can see, there's 3 different versions of it. 3? That's weird. They didn't even have this version when I was selling it, but looks like there's 3 different versions now. The primary one I sold was the brass one right here, and I would sell it for, got it for $9.99. I think I would sell it for $25 is what it was going for back in the day, but now it's a little bit lower. So all I did was I just typed in the door club and let's see, or the club. Let's see if this works, because I just want to show you how I did it. The club. And we come to this third website. I would check them all, but I know these are not the website. So this is the club. This is the website. I think it's called Winter International. And this is actually one of the wholesale accounts that I got. And all I did was scroll to the bottom and I went to contact us, and you have all their information there. It's live on the website, and I just contacted them, said, hey, I want to buy 100 of these things. What kind of pricing can you get for me? And they told me, I don't remember how many I had to buy, but they came in a pack of 6, I believe. And as long as I filled up a pallet, I believe the shipping was included. As long as I had to spend $1,200 was the minimum, I believe. So I filled a pallet with 100 or 150 or whatever it was of these things, and I just contacted him. And literally this company, there was just one point of contact. He was a cool guy, I don't remember his name. And once I ordered a few of the door club, which was the one that I ordered. And then I got the entire list of just all of the different items, different locks. Like I said, I didn't really know about exclusives, to be honest with you. This was a few years ago, and I didn't really think about saying, hey, let me get an exclusive on this product so that no one else can, come in on the listing. But as you can see, they have a whole bunch of different padlocks and just a whole bunch of different products. And it was all because I went to Ollie's one day. I found an item, and I just happened to contact Winter International. They were pretty cool. They just said, 1,200 was my minimum order quantity, and that's pretty much it. I mean, a lot of these things just start off by you giving someone a call, and sometimes you think, oh man, these are huge companies, and there's just going to be bureaucracy and kind of things like that. But often, these companies are just small companies like yours or I, and they're just small companies. I mean, and they carry a whole bunch of products, and sometimes you can get an exclusive, maybe just for one or two products. Like here we have control. Like here we have this nylon dog leash. I don't know what a dog leash goes for, but instead of maybe private labeling something, maybe it makes sense to find a wholesaler like this. There might not be a listing here. Let me see if I can see. I can't see the UPC for this, but maybe it makes more sense to buy direct from the wholesaler instead of doing some private label and try to find items that they have not listed on Amazon and try to resell. So just from us talking right here, I'm not even really doing this, just kind of doing this live. But here we have a few different dog leashes. Looks like the prices are about $11.99 or so. There's one for $14.99. Okay, so just quick information. So dog leashes go for about $15. I did not look this up ahead of time. It's actually kind of surprising. And here's a wholesaler who's selling a dog leash. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be the best seller because I have not compared the quality of the two. But just from simply going on a website, I found an item for $2.99. I might be able to get a wholesale account there. Can't guarantee it. And it's for a dog leash. And here we have a few dog leashes. Maybe they're not comparable. Really hard to tell the length and things like that. But, I mean, that's really how easy it is. It's just how much time you're going to spend doing these kinds of things and, how much time you're going to spend trying to get different wholesale accounts. So if you were to go to that website and you said, okay, dog leashes are what I want to do, you don't even have to come up with your own brand because these are already branded, I believe. This is a Boss, I believe is the name of this nylon dog leash. Hopefully I'm sharing my screen. Oh, I think I am. Okay. So we have Boss nylon dog leash here. And there we go. We have a few colors it's made out of. And just for a few seconds of looking, we see that they're going for $15. So maybe this is an item that, works for you for wholesale. And it's a lot less risky. Here we go. We have this for 4 colors. It only has one customer review. Pet supplies kind of high. Maybe I just type in dog leash and see if something better comes up. Some pretty cool dog leashes. $7.99. So anyways, just something that, as you're looking at for a wholesaler, you might just come up with something simple like this dog leash right here. There's really nothing proprietary about it. It's a dog leash, there's nothing special. And, we have 368 reviews right here. This would be something you could private label or you could, wholesale if you can find a wholesaler for it. Looks pretty easy there. I'm going to just pull up the FBA calculator. It's probably even cheaper if you get this from, let's see, China. So let me throw in $9.99. I don't know if these people are making any money. It seems kind of, I'll bet you can get this from China for $1.50. And this actually turned into something I completely wasn't expecting, which was sourcing a private label item. So since I'm already down this path, let me pull up AliExpress and just kind of see if we can find a cheap dog leash. And it might be that I'm completely wrong, but I think you can get a pretty cheap dog leash. Let's see. Let's see, short dog leash, pet lead. I don't know how long this thing is. I'd have to look a little bit better into the... See, this looks like almost the same picture. I can't guarantee this is exactly the same, but it's pretty much just a black dog leash. I mean, there's nothing special about it. You know what? It has that little Italy thing there. Italy registered trademark. I mean, you can throw... If that's all that makes that thing unique, that would be pretty easy to duplicate. Oh man, you can get a light up neon pet collar. That's pretty cool. Okay, so anyways, you can source this from $1.36 to there. And that easy. I mean, we just found an item, $1.36. Shipped to Amazon's going to be like 25 cents. Pretty cheap item. And we're making over 3 times our money, and this item is selling like hotcakes, it looks like, from what I can tell. 5, 6 different colors. And this is, I'm talking about this from a seller standpoint, private label standpoint or a wholesale standpoint. Because even if you get something like this for $3.99, you're still, or $2.99, you're still making a little bit of money. But Amazon is essentially going to cut this AliExpress. You buy it from AliExpress, and essentially the person will be able to list this item straight on to Amazon. They'll be able to do their shipping straight to the Amazon facility because they're getting into logistics, and essentially cut you out. So that was kind of interesting. Was able to just kind of live go into that. So that was pretty cool. So have you thought about opening a brick and mortar to gain more wholesale accounts? So I've seen people do brick and mortar to start wholesale accounts, but that's not my thing, because then you have to stay in the store all day, or you have to hire somebody to be there. And, often they're going to actually, if they don't want you to sell online, often they're going to pay attention to the listings. So let's pretend that you decide not to, you decide to open a brick and mortar store, and you get an item that's selling like hotcakes on Amazon. That person can still come to you and say, you can't sell on Amazon, and that will be part of your contract. So if they say that, then you open the brick and mortar store for essentially nothing because you opened it, and now they're still telling you can't sell on Amazon. Yes, Larry Smith. I am going to ASD. I will be there. I hope you'll be there. You should come by the booth. I think we'll be, I don't even know what part of ASD we will be at. I got an email earlier. I think we're doing a face shot. So yeah, I'm going to pull up my email while we're talking. And I think it's actually, we're at like C something. So C, if you give me 1 second, I'm going to pull it up. Pretty sweet. We have a booth, and that will be, you won't be able to miss this, but we're at C5207. C5207. That's like kind of where the business logistics and stuff are. Amazon might be there. So, and last time where we chose to be today was actually, let's see, where we chose to be this time was actually like 2 or 3 spaces away from where Amazon is. So I'm hoping that we'll make friends with some Amazon people there, and we can ask them some questions because they actually had a few people from Amazon there, and it was pretty cool. But I didn't have a ton of time to like break off the booth because we were kind of far away to break off the booth and go see them. But Amazon was there, and they were getting people signed up for accounts. They were talking to people who were selling, wholesaling in China and things like that. So Amazon is working. I mean, they're out there hustling. They're trying to get direct from consumer to manufacturer, and they're doing an awesome job at it. So now's the time to start on Amazon, because I think over time it's just going to get a little bit more difficult as you're needing to mark your item up, because right now a Chinese facility, and we just saw this nylon deal at AliExpress selling for $1.20, $1.36, and on Amazon it was going for much more, but we can find that there. And I saw an item on AliExpress and it looked kind of cool, so I think you can make some money. So hopefully, and it was a light up dog collar. So hopefully, they're like $1, $2 a piece. So I'm gonna go to Amazon and I'm gonna just do things close to you. I mean, I have a dog, so dog collars were just on my mind. I have no idea if this is gonna be profitable. It might be a money loser, but let's just scroll down. Let's see. Okay, here's a USB LED rechargeable. Rank is 10,000. Good Lord, 2,000 feedback. Man, they had to sell a ton of these things to get 2,000 feedback. And let's see what we have here. Okay, so on the cheap end, we're talking 94 cents. That might be a little too cheap for my taste. And I might go, oh man, some of these are pretty cool. Like there's different designs and stuff. So I don't know which one, I go with. And there's kind of harnesses and light up lights. So let's say I'm searching for LED dog collar. $14.99 is my price. I'm going to throw in FBA calculator. And let's pretend I buy a middle of the road one. These range from $1 up to like $4. So let's just say we paid $2 for this. Now, there's some keyword research. I don't have a keyword thing on my computer right now. I wish I could show you more in depth. So I'm just going to say we're going to pay $2 for this from AliExpress. Dang, man. These people are killing it because I'm sure they're buying this in bulk. Man, that's cool. So I'm sure they're buying this thing in bulk right here. And this would be a success story for anybody who is doing a private label, because they have the keywords here. I'm pretty sure there's a private label seller. I can't. Yeah, because whenever we look, it's sold by Lumicine, and here it is there. Man, it's pretty sweet. And they probably sell as an add-on the collar or the leash. I'll bet you. Yep, right there. We see the same dog with the leash. And as we look down here, we see this one has 416 feedback. This one has 416 reviews. This one has 203. So, I mean, just by accident, just by talking about something, and thank you guys for the questions, because you kind of led me on a rabbit trail, and I'm like, this is, these products are insane. When you think about Shine for Dogs, see another private label seller right here. Pretty cool. So something like this, you could probably do wholesale or private label. I'll bet you there's some U.S. sellers who already have a brand out there who sell this thing, who are not selling online. And since we're here live, let me see. Just going to do a quick Google search, and maybe something comes up, maybe it doesn't. So just bear with me if we find something. Maybe Duluth Trading Company. Night Howl. So since I got the brand name, I'm going to grab that brand name, and I'm going to go Night Howl. Just search it and see what happens. There we go. This might be like one of those $12.95. Okay, so if I wanted to do wholesale, let's see if they're actually selling on Amazon. Sorry if I'm running on a tangent, but it just kind of got me interested in the topic. Like once we started talking about it, I'm just going off on this, but this is pretty cool. Night Eyes, sold by multiple sellers. Night Howls. So from here, like we found this Night Howl. It looks like they're a U.S. company. They already have their brand built. So if instead of maybe building your own brand, if private label is not your thing, we go to contact. We shoot them an email and say, hey, can I? Oh, there we go. Wholesale. See how easy this is? Wholesale information. Boom. We found a wholesaler. I don't know what they're selling this item for, so I can't guarantee it's good, but this is how wholesale accounts start. So they might have 100 different products. We can look at other things that they have. Say, hey, can I buy your night owl or night vision thing for the dogs? And then, you move on to other things that they have. So Steely, Fremont. No idea what some of this stuff is. Car Universal Mount. So they might send you a list of all the products they have. And then from here, we're good. So we see that this Night Eyes mount right here, we have 3 sellers on it. I don't know what the rank of that thing is, but if you're able to contact this person, get the wholesale account, I don't know what the wholesale price will be, but maybe if you can get it for 10 or 15 bucks wholesale, you can sell this item on Amazon. So do we have any other questions that can be thrown in to the live chat? Otherwise, I'm just running down rabbit trails just talking about how you can actually do some stuff live. But if you have any questions that need to be answered, I would answer them now. So time to build a brand. So you can build your own brand, and you can go the wholesale or the private label route, or you can do the other route, which will be or we can do the other route, which will be just finding wholesale accounts. So you saw how I found the item first. I went to I just started talking about something, and I found that the light up things were selling pretty well. Then I found a few brands that looked like they were not private label, and then I say, hey, can I wholesale your brand Night Owl or Night Howl? And from there, once you're able to get that wholesale account, then you're open to their entire catalog. So one little item like one light up neck thing for your dog can turn into literally hundreds of items, because often a wholesaler will sell just a lot of items in their inventory. Okay, Michael, thank you for the comment. I don't think I've ever seen your comment. Michael Razzo on the line, and glad you're able to comment. Says, this is one of the most informative videos. I don't think it's a tangent. I've not started yet, but I'm a little intimidated. You're making it look pretty easy, but it's a lot of research. So I'm doing kind of the very preliminary research. If you're doing private label, you need to do way more than I just did, which was just kind of look and see how much things are selling. You're going to need to actually look at the product, see what the keywords are, see there's just a lot of research that goes into it. Whenever you contact one of the suppliers, you're going to see how long the lead time is for some of these things, how much is the shipping to get this item to your house. So for here, some things can take 20 to 39 days. So we need to figure out a lot of more information than I'm mentioning personally, but that's just the basics of how you kind of start to get this thing going. And if there's something that you buy already, like what did I buy the other day? I bought something, and it was just small and cheap, and I don't remember what it is now, but I bought something off of Amazon. It was small and it was cheap, and I was like, man, this thing is probably private labeled. So if you buy anything, or you're just thinking about buying something, often that's just a good place to get started. And the low cost items are just an awesome way to get started. So if you can find something that's kind of generic, low cost to produce, but it's selling for a lot on Amazon, that's kind of where you start looking. And it's kind of awesome to be able to see those. So where do you plan on starting, Michael Razzo? Where do you plan on starting? So are you going to go into thrift stores, and depending on how much cash you have, I mean, that could work, or you might decide that you want to start somewhere else. So I'm just kind of curious, Michael, what avenue do you plan on taking? You don't have to put how much cash you want to start with down there. I know that might be personal for some people. So, but I'm just thinking, if you have a small amount of cash, you're probably not going to be able to do too much private label stuff, but you might be able to start at your thrift stores, your garage sales and things like that, and really multiply your money. The Camelizer extension. Whoa, I don't even remember what that does. Camelizer, I'm going to put it into Google and I'm going to look at it real quick because I believe I've heard of it. But, oh, okay, yes. So Camel tells you how things have sold in the past, what the selling price was of items over time. So if you go to the Camelizer extension, it just makes things kind of easier for you to find the historical price of some items. So I'm going to plug in something. And here we go. I'm going to share the screen and I'll go over the Camelizer extension. Possibly. I have too many tabs, so I'm going to have to start closing some. And I cannot find Camelizer. So I'm going to go to Camel, and it's automatically going to do a search. So the Camelizer extension makes sourcing a little bit easier, especially if you're doing online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, because it's going to tell you the price history. Price history doesn't always tell you what's going to happen in the future, but it often will kind of give you an idea. So here's a random USB sync and charge for iPhone, iPod. It's black, and we have, it looks like oh man, this bad boy goes all the way back to 2012. So they've been tracking this for a long time. But as you can see, the price has really fallen since 2012. I would say this could be because of, I can't say that without actually checking it, but a lot of this could be because there's just so many more sellers today than there was in 2012. I think last time I read a stat that 700,000 people opened up Amazon accounts to sell this year alone. So just over time, this item has started at $20. You can see that over the course of about a year or so, it drops itself down to $8, and then it goes down again. But then it stays up here all the way at $22, and now we're here at $1.66 is the low point, and $3.30 is the high point, which is actually very low. So let me actually look at the listing real quick. Since there we go, sync and charge iPhone charger. I don't know how anybody makes any. Okay, so this is what I kind of suspected. So we have, oh no, some of these are in the U.S. Okay, so I don't even think you make any money at $3.49, even if you get this for free. But we do have like a just launched seller at $3.49. So they could just be trying to get their first review. And yeah, they don't even have the buy box. So that's one of the things when you're a just launched seller, sometimes you won't get the buy box at all. But in this case, it looks like this seller right here. And this is another reason that you don't always want to just reprice at the lowest price. Because if you were to reprice at $3.49, I think you're losing money. But if you realize that $3.49 seller is not even in the buy box, not only are they not in the buy box, but whenever you look here, a buyer is probably going to do one of two things. They're going to see this price at $7.84, and they're either going to buy it there, which means they're never going to click on this and actually see that $3.49 buyer, or they're going to go here and they're going to see these sellers, and they're actually going to buy from one of these sellers right here, just because Amazon makes it easy. So this is one of the reasons that, tanking the price, going all the way down to $3.49 is going to be detrimental, because I believe you lose money at $3.49. Let me grab this ASIN, going to plug it in. They might have insufficient $3.49. I can't imagine, even if you get this thing for free, that you're making anything. So I'm not really sure why that person is at that price. It could be like a repricer gone wild or something, like someone just had a repricer and they didn't actually figure in the shipping cost. So on this item, if you sell it for $3.49, you're losing 86 cents. So this is probably a mistake. This person probably doesn't realize that they're that cheap and they're going to lose money with every one of these they sell, or they're just trying to get their feedback so they don't say just launched. Because right now they're saying just launched, and that's not a good look for the average person who's trying to buy it. So I'm going to go back to the main page and Camelizer. Do you recommend having your own website as well as selling on Amazon? I recommend diversifying no matter how you do it, whether it is having your own website or, having eBay or something else also, only because Amazon will rule your life. I have had my account suspended. It was only suspended for a few hours. And I believe it was because someone, I got an item online arbitrage, purchased the item, customer got the item, and they said it was not as described. It wasn't an inauthentic claim. It was just, they said they were supposed to get the XL model or whatever it was, and they got the standard model. Hey, South Florida seller, glad you're here. They said they were supposed to get the XL model. So when I contacted them, they said, sorry, I looked at the listing again. Your price was priced at the same price as the XL model on Target, so I thought I was getting the XL model. And I was like, well, you look at the listing, and we weren't selling the XL model, we were selling the regular model. And they actually apologized, and they said, oh, sorry, we didn't mean to affect your account, because that was either a suspension or maybe that was just a policy violation or something happened there. It scared the crud out of me. That was my only venue at the time. And luckily, I screenshotted their email and I sent it to Amazon, and I said, look, they made a mistake. They're admitting it here. And they actually sent the email to Amazon also, and my account was fine. But it kind of highlights, how Amazon kind of runs your life. If you're only selling on one venue and maybe you make a mistake, maybe Amazon just changes the policy, having a second kind of way to sell is always good. And you kind of learn things by having your own website, how to optimize the pictures, how to optimize your search engine. A lot of those things kind of carry over. So, So Michael Razo, don't know which one it is, but Michael has about $1,000 he could start with. So yeah, I'd recommend doing the thrifting to start. I mean, what city do you live in, Michael? And maybe we have about 7 more minutes here. Maybe we can make a quick route here. If I have time, I'm not really sure, but it depends on what kind of sites what kind of time we have. So DC Maine is asking about OAXRAY. What is the difference between fully supported and title match supported? So DC Maine. Okay, so OAXRAY, what we do is we can sometimes get ASIN data. Sometimes we can get UPC data directly from whatever site we're using. Or sometimes we use virtual assistants who will go on to, let's say, Target. They will look at a listing, then they will go physically and make a manual match to Amazon. And if they do that at least 80 or 90% of the time, then we will say that's fully supported. And generally, in most categories, unless it's like a category that might not have as many matches, maybe like clothing or something, then you're going to get a match 90 or higher percentage of the time. Title match means the only thing you're going to be matching on is the title of the item. So if you're on a Lego site and the title is Lego Set 489, there's almost always going to be a match because it's easy to make those matches. But if it's a shoe site and it just says Nike red shoe, then those matches are not going to be very accurate. So that's why we separate the two, because I want people to know that, hey, it's fully supported. You're going to have a really high match rate. And title match supported is going to be a little bit more of a headache for you, but less people are going to generally be using it. Again, hey, South Florida seller, Bobby Moons, Bargains, and Michael told me he is in Topeka, Kansas. I have a couple minutes left, so since he decided to help me out and threw out some questions, I'm going to go to Google Maps. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I do my stuff whenever I'm doing books or whenever I go to a new area. So I did this in DC. I live in Virginia Beach, so whenever I take a trip, I try to do a little bit of scouting also. So we go to Topeka, we type in thrift stores. Boom. I don't know how big the city is, so I don't know how many you're going to have. Whoa. That is nothing like ours. Man, you do not have much going on there. That's interesting. Okay, so you're going to be making some trips. Good times. Okay. So you don't have a lot of thrift stores and libraries. The good thing is you do have Kansas City here. It looks like that's only 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe like 6 miles away. So what I would do for your city is I would probably make a route for every day. So one day you can probably hit all these places in your city. So I'd start at like Capital City Thrift, go to Goodwill, Plato's Closet, that's us, generally clothing, Findables, and then I would like hit all these places. And there's only like 10, so you should be able to do this in one day. Make sure you have your scanner with you, make sure you're good to go. And I'd hit all these, let's say Monday. Then my Tuesday route would be probably the city of Lawrence. And I would hit Ditto, Salvation Army, and I just kind of make the best route that I can. So I hit all these places, and then I go home. This would be like my Tuesday route. Wednesday, I'd come over to, you're probably going to need like 3 or 4 days to do Kansas City. Kansas City is pretty large. Google Maps actually allows you to make routes. I probably can't find it. We only have a couple minutes left, but it allows you to make different routes. So I'd make Route 1, all of the places in Topeka, and I would cut out places if they're not finding anything, cut them out. Then I'd make a route for Lawrence. That would be day 2. Then I'd come over here to Kansas, and I would do like a northern route. So for instance, all of the libraries and thrift stores on this little northern tip right here, looks like there's 6 or 7. I'd hit all those. And yeah, I'm not showing the screen. Oh, crud. Hello? Okay, so I'm on the screen now. Sorry about that. Here's the city of Topeka, and you are on the screen right here. I did a search for thrift stores. I would actually go to all of these places in order and just try to find the best route and cut out places. Mommy and Me probably not going to be books. Plato's Closet probably not books. I'd make another route for Lawrence and go to northern Kansas City, make a route there, probably southern Kansas City or maybe central. And I'd have like 4 or 5 routes in your area, even though it may seem like, there's a lot of driving. It's probably going to be, but it looks like you have at least 50 or 60 stores. And let's see. I don't really see any major. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Topeka. And then if you go to those places once a week and you find that you're not finding enough to actually make it, once a week, then you might drive down to Wichita. You might hit these Salvation Armies right here, and then hit all these places on your way back. And that's how I like to make my routes. Sorry that I did not do the screen share for a few seconds there, but that's how I would get started. And there we go. Okay, so do you recommend using rep service versus FBA prep service? I don't know what a rep service is, but FBA prep. Prep center. Okay, so definitely using an FBA prep center is a good thing to do once you have more capital. So I don't know where you are as far as capital goes, but initially, when I don't have a lot of cash, I like to do everything myself. And then as you get a little bigger, as you have a little bit more cash, then it starts to make sense to have a prep center do it for you. Unless you're doing all, if you're doing all online arbitrage, you might look at your state also. Because if you're in a state, I'm in Virginia, it's 5.6% sales tax. A state like store like Target will not accept our sales tax exemption. So if I send that stuff to a prep center, I actually save money on the taxes. So guys, we are at our 1 hour. Time flew by. We found a couple possible private label. Make sure if you're doing any of that stuff, you look really deep into it. I went very surface level. But thank you guys very much. Have a great day and make some money using OAXRAY.